always. I get everybody's attention right quick. I think we're about to kick things off. Before with the Academy of Craft Training. That's the building that you guys are in. We're a high school training program for construction for students here from 40 different high schools in the Birmingham area. Drop the pin right here, 30, 45 minutes outside of it. My purpose here today is not to sell the academy. My purpose is to tell you how to be safe in our building. Okay. So most everybody, if there's an emergency, you'd be able to go right out those double doors back there. Mr. Cody Jackson with ABC is standing right back here. He knows how to operate that door. It's got a little stick to it, but if there's an emergency, he's got a sign on the back that follow me. So you guys go straight out that door. Restroom facilities, straight out this door, straight up the hall. There's a unisex and a men's restroom on the right. Turning your first hallway to the left, there is a 4-gang women's bathroom. Okay. There's also 2 bathrooms right back here, men and women's. If you need, any other question? It does. I just don't need it. Okay. I'm trying to say that. I like them. Somebody bought it. Matt, Mark. Right now. I like it. I like it. There. On the microphone. On the microphone. There you go. Very good. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. Lunch is outside. I think I hope everybody got one. That type of thing. Basically, I'm Randy Easton. I'm with UA Safe State. UA Safe State is basically the OSHA consultation program for the state of Alabama. We basically work closely with OSHA. We're funded by OSHA to help companies comply with OSHA regulation. We're free, we're confidential. We basically exist to help you understand OSHA and to help you have a better, safer workplace. I am also the area director for ASSP. So we've got an ASSP involvement here this tonight. Jack from Alabama. He's also senior safety consultant for UA Safe State.
Thank you for attending our January 15th ASSP meeting. If you would please stand and join in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll do an innovation. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to come together. We thank you for this study. We thank you for the conclusion of it. We ask you to be with us to help us for our companies and workplaces to be safe, help our companies be successful, help us have a better understanding, and for us to work together to increase the safer and better population workforce to help. In your most precious name, we thank you and appreciate all things. Amen. Okay.
You can change the. I just had a couple announcements I want to bring to your attention. On February 5th, you all got the printout there for electrical training course we got. The purpose of this training is to explain to you how electrical goes from the power plant to your actual equipment in the facility. So we're hoping that you'll want to come to this PDC and learn about electrical. And how it works at your facility. On February 20th, our next meeting will be at Jacksonville State University. We always have an annual meeting with the student section if they enjoy it. So hopefully you can join us on February 20th at JSU. Their website, their ASSP chapter, they have the flyer. ASSP will be putting out the flyer this week. And it's also on our website for this mini expo. And then one final announcement. If anybody's interested and wants to attend the guided tour of the craft training center here, we'll do that after this meeting. So if you're interested, stay on and get a guided tour of the craft training center.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate everyone being here today. This is sort of a unique opportunity, but that's represented by different people here and by the regional office. Once the reorganization occurred last year, there was a lot of curiosity, a lot of interest about that. A lot of interest in how this was working, the different changes there. We basically say same policy, different people, offices and branding. We went from there, but we appreciate Steve and Lynn coming by today. Opportunity for them to meet y'all and meet them, help develop a relationship. As I said earlier, we are the consultation partner for all things, and we work closely in terms of understanding OSHA. Our people go to the Chicago training center, so they're trained in signature policy to help y'all understand OSHA. We also have an OTI center in Tuscaloosa, so we have classes there. And something we do is free and it's going to help you with your location. Training center is affordable, but it's not free. But we can help you with those classes. This has been an effort that we've reached out to a lot of our partners, trying to look at involved here. We appreciate ABC and AGC for their efforts in this. We appreciate them sponsoring and paying for lunch. Thank you, Jason. We opted for a box lunch because trying to put 120 people through a line, which was effective numbers, would take a while. But this is great coordination of different things. We have other groups that really want different things today, some are. In addition to AGC and AGC, we have ASSP. That's our professional association that's involved. We also have Manufacturing Alabama, Rural Electric Association, utility contractors, and the Concrete Association involved supporting us. Some of them people. But again, this is an effort to join together, to merge groups, to work together to expand knowledge. And a lot of this is unique to people from the area regional office, but it's also about people in the room getting to know each other. When I was chapter president, what I saw for ASSP being the real benefit is network. You know, having people you can rely to, people you can talk to, people who can advise you who you use. You know, who's a good person, who's much learning from, who's a person who has all the next training tools. So there's a lot of value in that. Also with this is the Alabama chapter ASSP monthly meeting. I think this is an ABC safety committee meeting, an AGC section meeting.
Andy, you hold the speaker closer if they can't hear you on the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm trying to make this short and sweet. We appreciate everybody being here. Everybody here, I'm sure, is willing and wanting to help one another. Encourage you to come into these different things. This thing we're doing on February 5th is a unique electrical training. Not that I thought David is going to be here today, but Dr. David Carpenter, who is, you can't find any training and knowledge like David has. David has been doing this forever. He's next to electrical engineering, and he started as an apprentice electrician. So he's actually done this and knows the work, knows what the problems are. He can diagnose those over the telephone, but anyway, that works. So that's all things David. And this is going to be, yes, electrical safety, but a lot of it's going to be just to explain how electrical equipment works. Because I deal with a lot of people and they're talking about codes, but they do not understand what the motor control center does and understand what the transformer does, the breakers, relays, the whole thing. We want to understand why there's a problem. So with that, compared to that, that's something you don't find very often. So I'd encourage you to do that. Again, we thank you. We're very happy to have Cecil and Georgia here. Georgia Hughes is the regional administrator. Cecil Tipton is the deputy acting area director for Birmingham. I'm finding this out as we go along, but Miranda is someone with a long history in OSHA. She was a CAS in Dallas. She was a regional administrator in the Northwest. Cecil was the area director in Boise. So when you get used to the Pacific Northwest theology, you've got coming here, The first thing I want to know is these people born in Alabama, right? So they have found an opportunity to come home, and with that, we welcome them, we welcome them home, we appreciate them, and we appreciate their involvement with us, and hope to see more of them in things. So with that, I will get out of the way and turn it over to Dwayne to say something. I'd say there's a virtual office. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Good morning. It's so nice to see all of you here. So as Randy said, let me just echo what you said. Thank you so much for the invitation, for the hosting, ASSP, ABC, agency. Certainly appreciate all of the coordination that had to go into us all being in this room and getting to know each other a little bit. So like Randy said, I am an Alabama native. I grew up in North Alabama. I was born in Huntsville and moved to Florence and graduated from Bradshaw High School, which is no longer a school. I don't know how many of you are from the North Alabama area. But then I went off to college, came back for a little while and worked at TVA. That's where I first became a federal employee. And was there for about 3.5 years before I left and went to the Department of Labor for OSHA in Baton Rouge, where I was a compliance officer for about 12 years, and then I was a compliance assistant specialist. So I was the point of contact. So there's a lot of your peers over in Louisiana that have worked there. Partnership and alliances with AGC, with ABC, with ASSP, with the Safety Council. Absolutely love the outreach program. And then I became a double AD, area director, and then went to the Dallas regional office for a little while with the deputy before going out to Seattle. And I was just the regional administrator there for about, about 1.5 years. And then they decided that we're going to do something that's never been done in the history of OSHA. For 50-something years, we're going to create a new region. And in doing so, we're going to carve up a couple of existing regions and merge like San Francisco and Seattle. And so that's how we came to be. We officially launched in September. Well, we did a soft launch in September of 24, a true full launch in October of 24. And the carve out, as you guys know, you're sitting here, you used to be part of what was Region 4, which is now called the Atlanta region. So we took Alabama, which actually Mobile is an area office down south that covers 10 counties of Florida. So we get a little sliver of Florida to go along with you all here in Alabama. Mississippi, we've got Arkansas and Louisiana from what used to be Region 6 in Dallas. And then we picked up the 2 state plans, Kentucky and Tennessee. So then to create the regional office staff, Cecil and I came from the Seattle region, and we have some folks who support the region who are still sitting in Seattle and Boise. And then our enforcement program staff is kind of scattered as well. They're anywhere from like here in Alabama over to Florida. So we cover several time zones, if you will. So call us anytime. Probably somebody will answer. But do you want to introduce yourselves and
Sure.
make sure they understand that you are from Alabama?
I can do that.
Can you speak the language? Can you guys tell from my accent? I didn't lose it. When I went to Seattle, y'all, I was going to get on the elevator, and they said, "What floor?" And I said, 12. Are you from the South? So from one word, they knew I was from the South.
And, hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Like Rick said, I did lose my accent when I went out there because I spent 20 years out west. And people, I got hurt people making fun of me, folks, blood away. But I come back home and it's back like snapping fingers. And people would notice that when I go back home from the west to visit during the summertime, go back out to Boise or Portland, and folks say, "Wow, you sound like a redneck." And it's like, well, I know. So I I too am from Alabama. I was born and raised at the high school, graduated from high school in Opelika, Alabama. And I was really, distraught when I saw Thompson destroy them in the state championship game this year, but at least we made it there. Good dogs. And then I went to and graduated from Auburn University. I knew it would be 50-50. I don't know. But then in between graduating from high school and college, I meandered off and spent 4 years in the Coast Guard. And that was a wonderful time for me. I grew up, and I think it was reason why I became more successful in life was just getting that discipline, and probably wasn't ready to go to college when I first went to Auburn my first freshman year. So second freshman year, but and after that, I had spent the next 20 years out west. Started in Boise as a compliance officer, then moved to be the assistant area director in that office. And for the last 11 years, was the Portland area director before I came here. Officially set my boots on the ground not even a year ago, really. It was in February when I got here. I lived in a hotel for a few months, but now we have a house. We're settled in. Well, there's a few boxes, but we're there, and we're happy to be back home.
So Cecil is his real job right now is Assistant Regional Administrator of Cooperative and State Programs. And so he has oversight for the region for our outreach programs, our alliances, partnerships, BPP, monitoring for the consultation program, and for our state plans in Tennessee and Kentucky. However, he has generously agreed at different times over this last year to be the acting deputy, not once but twice, and then whistleblower admin programs, and now he's the acting AD in Birmingham. And so we're just kind of cycling through. You could totally read into that whatever you want. We're missing a few key positions, but we're hoping to get those filled soon. So I brought notes. We're not going to do a PowerPoint, but this is really just a reminder for me to make sure that I hit on all the key points that I want to make. But I actually brought a stack because I want this to be more about hearing from you all, and less about us just talking to you, because we want to work with you all. As I said, I was a compliance assistant specialist. I understand the benefits of us working collaboratively together. However, we do have to talk about some not so good things up front. And that is the fact that I think everybody in this room knows and play online that if today is a typical day in America, there are 15 people who are getting up and going to work and aren't coming back home. And those are sobering numbers. And I wish I could tell you that that was helping in other regions, other part of this country, and that it wasn't happening here. But the bad news is that it is in fact happening in our region, and it is in fact happening here in Alabama. Last year, the new region investigated about 109 workplace fatalities. Of that, 38 of them were conducted out of the Birmingham and the Mobile area offices. Now, 9 of them were in Florida out of the Mobile office. So there's still a little work to do. You know, as an agency, having made 50 years, we've seen great strides, but there's still work for all of us to do. And we can't do it by ourselves. There's not enough of us. There never has been enough of us. The only way that we get to the point where we're sending people home whole every day is when we're working. So I'm hoping to talk about partnerships, alliances, VPP, the consultation programs, some of the initiatives that the Department of Labor and OSHA specifically are engaged in now, or, looking forward to in the future. I'll just give you some stats here in the region. We currently have 4 partnerships. 2 of those are in the state of Alabama. They are both with Brassfield and Gorey, the UAB Biomedical Center, and the Coca-Cola. So we are looking forward to having partnerships. While our directive allows us to partner with more than just construction, I will tell you that my personal preference is that when we engage in partnerships, that we're doing it for site specific, like construction projects that are going to have multiple years or on them, so that it can become a robust partnership where the general contractor and the subs are all pulled into it, and we're working together. And as far as alliances across the region, there are 15 alliances. There are 4 here in the state of Alabama. I can tell you that across the region, almost half of all of the alliances we have are with either ASSP, AGC, or ASSP. So you guys are already well represented. But we're looking forward to working with you all. Alliances are an opportunity for us to engage collaboratively. Those agreements tend to be written more generally and broad. And so we can kind of tailor that. I am not a fan of just having an alliance to have a piece of paper to say we have an alliance. If we're going to have one and we're going to have a formal relationship, then it needs to be mutual. I've seen them, I've been around long enough to know that they can just kind of sit on a shelf or on a computer somewhere. We need to have products as a result of the alliance. And, you guys can't be the only one given to us, and we can't be the only ones given to you. It really has to be mutual. And there's great opportunities, there are great examples of how that's worked, and even here in Alabama. So I look forward to opportunities for us to engage. One of the, there's actually 3 very important initiatives to the Department of Labor. And one of them that is of great importance is to reach out to small business. And one of the ways that the agency does that is through the consultation program. So we support the consultation program. We actually, when our compliance officers are out, they promote it during their informal conference. During their closing conferences. When an employer comes in for an informal conference, our area directors and assistant area directors are promoting it. So we're trying to push the small employers there. But if everybody showed up, we might could overwhelm the consultation program. So it may not be the only game in town, and we have to think about that. So in what way could you all help us get the message to small employers? So just a challenge there for you. A couple of other initiatives that the agency engaged in was the letter of interpretations. This was a department-wide initiative, and OSHA's engaged in this as well. We've always had letter of interpretation, but sometimes they've been kind of hard to find, right? Have you all gone and tried to find, and you're like, where in the world is this? So they created a page that has made that a little easier to access the existing ones, and then to ask for a letter of interpretation, because we don't want it to be unclear what you need to do to be in compliance with our regulations and standards. The other thing that the agency did last year to relieve a little bit of burden on small employers is that they made some adjustments to the penalty reductions. So in the past, small employers that only had like 10 employees would qualify for a 70% reduction. We've increased the number of employees to 20. And we've also incentivized employers, if we're on site, we identify a hazard. If you quickly evade it or evade it during the course of the inspection, there's the potential that you're going to receive a reduction. So they've expanded the quick fix a little bit there. And am I missing anything on those 3? Okay. So then just talking briefly about VPP, the Voluntary Protection Program. Anybody in here in VPP? Anybody online? Okay, so let's talk about it. We have across the region 149 sites. Here in Alabama, we have 22 sites. Louisiana, by far is the largest. They have 76, 79. Yeah, yes, quite a few. And so there are things that are important to our Secretary of Labor and our Deputy Secretary of Labor. Expanding VPP is one of those things. Right now, we're working through, bringing 3 regions together, 3 different ways of doing things, 3 different ways of thinking about things. This last year, we've kind of worked through processes. So we're working through a little bit of a backlog on VPP. We do have some applications. We're interested in working with you all and like growing that to the extent that we have the capacity to do that. But I can tell you, in my past experience, because I was in Louisiana where there were a lot of participants there, that I've talked to employers who will tell you that even during the process of preparing to put their application in, and while they waited from the time they made application until we could come out on site, that they saw a significant improvement in their safety and health programs just in that interim time as they're working to get ready for us to be there. So if we can't tell you, yes, we'll pull the trigger and we're going to be out there next week, I don't want that to be dissuading you from still looking at potentially engaging in the program. Now, you may have heard too something about self audits. Any heard or seen any press releases from the department or OSHA about that? So I'll just briefly cue this up for you. One of the new programs that the agency is about to embark on is something called the Safety Champion Program. And this is an opportunity for you to engage in self-auditing. You'll go onto our website, you'll sign up. It's going to be run by our national office, but you will also, should you decide that you want access to a special government employee to kind of help you through this process, you can have access to someone that will help mentor you and coach you through that. And then there's 3 levels to that. So once you kind of graduate from the 3rd level, you could be at a place where you could make application for VPP. You're not obligated. You could just say, hey, I'm good. I'm fine. I have a great program here. And I'm good. But these are some initiatives that the agency is embarking on to try to meet people, employers where they're at. I know you guys, represent a wide berth of small employer to large employer. And so, these are tools and opportunities to kind of help yourself and for us to engage and work with you all. And I think I'm getting close. Unless you want to fill in on this, I do have a challenge for you all. Have I missed anything on the outreach?
I don't think so. I think you got it.
Okay. So, and I want to hear what's on your mind. What I came from Louisiana, where a lot of petrochemical, oil and gas, manufacturing, construction. The agriculture for me there was like, sugarcane, rice, crawfish, shrimp. Come here, you guys are doing peanuts, which I should know that because I'm from the state. So, some of it's me, you guys are doing automotive, so I'm interested in like the types of work that you're engaged in, kind of buildings that you're building, the things that you see for ways that we can all work together to get us to the 0 state. But there are initiatives that the agency has every year. I don't have dates on them yet. But we would love to partner with you all to get the word out and to increase the participation on fall stand down. We know in the construction arena that suicide prevention is something that you guys are very engaged in. And so if there's ways that we can partner with you when it's, when there are opportunities. The overarching, OSHA stand down, if you will, the safe and sound, that will be sometime in August. They typically have a very specific topic. We don't know what the topic is this year just yet. But coming up in April, and this date we do know, April 28th every year is Worker Memorial Day. And so we would really like to maybe partner with you all to do a Worker Memorial Day event where we can honor and recognize the workers who've fallen while working. And we, in the past and other places that I've worked, really started in Louisiana. We did proclamations, the governor's proclamation, and or something on the house of the floor of the House or the floor of the Senate. So we have some drafts, and sometimes it carries a little more weight if we have a sponsor from industry that's asking for that. So we might come back in. But anything else?
Initiatives, we've got a few things on the calendar, that I want to make sure. Make sure that you're aware of. So we also have ladder, safety month, that's gonna be next month. The fall stand down, that's gonna be May 4th through 8th. And that's a big one for us. Falls are still, the number one killer out there. July, surprise is Heat Safety Month. That's the big initiative fires. We do every year. We have heat illnesses in this state. Certainly last year was no exception to that. Just as so you have the date for it, August 10th through 14th is Safe and Sound Week. September is National Preparedness Month. And that kind of coincides with hurricane season ramping up. And then it's also Suicide Prevention Month. So those are things that we're trying to focus on. And the trench safety stand down is going to be June 16 through 20. That's as far as the initiatives go, that's what I've got. We have others as well. So that's just kind of scratching the tops on.
Thank you. All right. So I'd like to turn the tables now and hear from you all. Yes, sir.
Based on your investigation, what kind of trends are you seeing that are leading to those fatalities or incidents?
So the question for the people online is, like in the investigations, what kind of trends are we seeing? I don't know that we fleshed out like specific trends, but it seems to kind of come in like threes, if you will. So we had several electrocutions right in a row. We have just recently had trenching, a couple of trenching events. And then we had a pretty significant event where we had several people who went into a confined space and were overwhelmed. And I have somebody who's looking at this. He just put together some information for me about the location. So we're going to do a little bit deeper dive to see if we can determine any trends. But right now, I'm not seeing anything just in the reports that are coming across for me. I don't know if I can speak to Alabama, but I know in Louisiana, oddly enough, there were a lot of struck by. And then you go struck by what? And there's no real trend within the struck by what. We have had several, I guess, 3 events, 2 or 3 events where people are driving zero-turn lawnmowers or some kind of equipment that they're using to mow with. So they get trapped and drowned.
And, we also had a kind of a series of, cresting injuries here in Alabama. And many of them were very similar, pipes, I-beams, rolling, coming off balance, and crushing somebody against another, piece of material. And unfortunately, that seems to be something that occurs annually, just because of the industry we have in the area.
We have had a bunch of fatalities that got referred to us either by attorney or the area officers. A couple of years ago, literally, I'm looking and on the request backlog, I've got 8 companies I'm looking on this list that have fatalities. We were working with. I've done a lot of presentations, I've been to a lot of conferences, and no matter what the topic was, you ask about trends, it's hard to come up with just the absolute thing. But the constant for businesses, whether it's about safety or the HR issues or any of this, but in all fatalities I was familiar with, was failure to plan. You know, they just weren't addressing what was going on. It just happened. But it comes down to that whole thing about having a program, planning, trying to be prepared, have rules, not just, again, the need to plan. And we see that with injuries, we see that on OSHA 300, but simple but hard.
So what's Randy's saying with the folks that he's worked with that have come to the consultation program after a fatality or because one of our offices may have referred them is he would say that the common denominator here basically is like failing to plan the work. And I do know the fatalities that are coming across, and I don't see everyone now that I'm a regional administrator, I think the majority of them. But I would say that a lot of times, even if there has been a plan, something changes and they don't go back and reevaluate what the new hazards are. One of the other things that I'll just speak to here, and it kind of harkens back to probably one of the worst years that I had as area director at Baton Rouge. Even when we're training people about the job, how to do the job, how to do the job safely, sometimes people, we're not telling them, what not to do. Like, don't do something that you're not trained to do. Don't do this. And so this particular year in Baton Rouge, it really hit hard because it was young folks. It was like 3 youngsters who had died. And there was a similarity there. Like there had been a need that came up. And so they took an initiative, right? And who doesn't love an initiative? Like when you're a manager, don't you love somebody that sees something that needs to be done? So, they took the initiative to jump on the piece of equipment, even though they're not trained to move it. Because they had heard over the loudspeaker, we need somebody to move this. And, after 15 minutes, he's like, I'm just going to go move it. So I think that sometimes we have to think beyond just like telling people the job I want you to do, how to do it safely, but that there are things that you need to explicitly say, don't do. Any other questions? Ideas? Things you want? I've got many cards here, so I'm willing to capture ideas, thoughts, what we can do to work together. Yes, sir.
Yeah, one thing that's changed while you guys were away from the state is we're now the 7th largest producer of automobiles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we have manufacturing out the wazoo that we didn't have when I was. What kind of, ways can we adopt the VPP programs we've seen work so well in construction and in other places to these new industries?
That's a great question. And, like manufacturing is where it almost like seems to thrive the best, if you will, in other places. So, um, it's almost easier in manufacturing, if you will. So, if you want to talk to us, then we can get you on the road. But basically, I mean, there's some key tenets there. Um, to have a VPP program is you got to have your management on board. They actually have to sign a letter saying that they're committed to this. You have to have the workers on board. You have to have an element where the workers involved. And then you're doing hazard identification, hazard prevention training. And if you're an organization that has like subcontractors or you staffing folks, you got to have some way to communicate with them. And then you're always looking to improve. The program, the way it works right now, is we come out, like you guys do an application, you get ready. And getting ready, if you want an SG to mentor or coach you, we can get you an SG from an existing VPP site. They can coach you up. You can say, I'm ready. We'll come out and do the on-site audit. We'll spend about a week with you with a team. And then, like, once you become a member of VPP site, whether committee, merit, or whatever, we'll come back. But every time we come back, we're looking for you to have improved beyond what you were before. We all know in this room that if we're trying to only work to the OSHA standards, that we're going to be less than. VPP sites are sites that are working at a level beyond just being in compliance. It's a great opportunity, and we can help like get you hooked up with, and there's associations. There are a VPP PA association. There's a national association. Now, in the Birmingham region, we're a little split because they decided not to reorganize to fit us. So Alabama is still part of the Region 4 VPP PA, and Louisiana and Arkansas is still part of Region 6. But anyway, we get to, straddle. It's all good. But we can hook you up with folks, either in that organization or that are already in the program here in our region, and help you on that journey.
I would also add that a good avenue to, especially if you're starting from the ground level with those, is the Safety Champions program. Because it's built around those tenants that Brenda just mentioned for VPP. It's built on those exact same tenants. And it is a step-by-step program. You build your safety and health program. And if you follow all those steps and then you have an SGE come in to help you, you're on track. If your entry rates are below the national average for that industry sector, you're on track for VPP.
What are the benefits of being VPP? Are you not going to have as many inspections, or what are the specific benefits?
Okay, so the question is, what are the benefits of being a VPP participant, which is an excellent question. Because you are removed, once you become a participant in VPP, you are removed from our program plan inspections. So we're not coming knocking on the door for a PSM inspection or just any kind of program plan inspection. We still have to respond to fatalities or complaints or if there was like a serious injury that occurred there. We'll still respond in an enforcement action. I think the bigger reward though is that you have access to this network. And I have said SGE several times. You guys know what that is? That's a special government employee. And so for us to go do VPP audits, we have to have special government employees to help us out. And whenever I was a compliance assistant specialist back in Louisiana, I did audits and I was working with an SGE, and I said, why is your employer letting you be here to help us with this audit? Because his work was piling up for a week. Nobody else was doing it. But what he told me was that there's benefit for them because while he's there at that site auditing them, he's actually seeing things that are like best practices that he is now going to go take back to his work site and implement. So there's like a win-win there. Like in the VPP world, we talk about R&D, which is rip off and duplicate. Because while you all may be in competition out there in other ways, when it comes to safety, we're not competing together. So, answer your question?
Oh, compliance assistance, there's been a little bit of a shakeup, but we have a compliance assistance officer in this area now. I know we have one in Mobile. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I was just curious if y'all were kind of doing away with that position or we're just still looking for somebody.
So we do have, Francisco is down in Mobile. They've been without a compliance assistant specialist here in the Birmingham area office. We have asked for one, so you all can keep your fingers crossed. But Cyril and I are here locally. I don't know that we could engage with you the way a CAS could. But Joel his regular job is the area director of the Birmingham area office, and there's 2 assistant area directors there and compliance officers. So I feel certain that we can still work and partner with you all here and like from Birmingham or
Do you have any idea when some of the other positions that are open are actually going to be filled?
I do not.
Just curious about the meet and greets with the alliance members
Yeah.
and that fleshes out. What's the plan for that? As they come on board or get everybody on board and then get them out to the events and the meetings, committee meetings and things of that nature?
No, I think if we're engaging in alliances, and we're having meetings, we'll figure out how to make that work. You're talking about the quarterly meetings and whatever events we put together. Yeah, we'll figure out how to get a body and something here.
You mentioned alliances and partnership earlier, and you said it wouldn't happen just to be on paper.
Right.
So what type of results do you see coming out of it?
Okay, so actually, like a get together like this is great. But also, like if we could do events where we're pulling in employees and small, businesses, since that's, an area that we really want to focus on. We could, have some kind of half a day or a day where we have speakers that come in. Like you're already kind of doing some of these things that are targeted more for safety professionals, right? But, if we can push that down to those
Businesses in general.
right, and businesses in general. So if we could do some of those kind of things collaboratively and maybe even push it down to like the employees and small businesses. Now I know, this can get challenging, especially with small businesses because, the owner is also the on-site foreman, superintendent, accountant, and recruiter, right? So doing things during the day, but we might have to get creative. Like, can we do them in the evening? Can we do them on the weekend? So we might have to, I don't know. I'm open to ideas from you all. The area, I know it's home to me. While I left in 91, I never lost connection because my parents were always here. So I used to tell my 4-year-old son once we left, we're going home. So this feels like home to me, but I don't want to suppose that I know how things work here. Does a year in? I don't. I'm still learning. So I need to rely on you guys to tell me.
One thing that's going on in business is the impact of holding companies on small companies.
Okay.
That's really changed the dynamics of the owner on the plant side.
A lot of these have been bought out. Holding company that's been bought out by Berkshire Hathaway. So some issues and some changes there, but yes, there's still small businesses with a lot of the same challenges.
So here, did I see, are you stretching or?
Now you gotta say something.
On the subject of small businesses, kind of looking back to the still question, are you seeing anything with trends or when you look at trends with like size of the businesses that we're experiencing themselves with? Hearing some trends that are indicating a lot of it is smaller employers. I think
Yes.
you're seeing.
Yes, I would say so, yes. If we're looking at numbers, they would trend more to the smaller. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a point and then I'd like to ask for clarity on something. So, my first point is I know a lot of the people in this room probably have to utilize Randy and his team for their consultation program. But I would like to say that I encourage you to do that because that has been a valuable resource for our company. And even Randy from, just that help. Just an encouragement that that is very, very helpful to our company and helps us improve help segment. As the gentleman here alluded to, Alabama has become a very large manufacturer of automobiles. And some of the challenges that we have with that is we were never a large manufacturer of automobiles, so it's new to us. So we have a lot of immigration that comes with that. Right? So some of those challenges are language barrier. And then when you're looking at, forklifts, powered industrial vehicles, the rules from an OSHA standpoint, basically there's some leeway there, but it states that they must be able to read and understand English if I understand that correctly. And I know there's a little leeway there. However, one of the questions, because you have people from Japan, you have people from Mexico, you have people from Germany, everywhere, they have operated fork trucks for 25 years. And I have interpreters that can teach them in their language and can go through everything to make sure they understand. And you can test them and make sure they have an understanding, but they can't read your signs and things in English. They have an understanding of them. But I think that's something, and I'm not looking for a response immediately, but I think that's something that I would like to understand a little better and maybe something that we should look forward to in the future for how we can address that.
Right. I mean, I appreciate the challenge that you're having. So, you are correct in that the agency asks you to train workers in the language that they can understand. But as far as like the signs and having universal signs or whatever, we can do a little work on that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are y'all anticipating any new rule changes or directives in the near future?
So the question is, are we anticipating any new rules or directives? I'm not so sure about the directives. I do know that the regulatory agenda probably is coming out in the spring. Usually that's around in April. There's there has been some notice of some deregulation. So that will hit, in the spring regulatory. And I think it came out in the fall as well. Some of the things that they were looking at deregulating. So yeah, well, and there were some things that have been proposed that went out for comment. And so the agency's kind of sorting through all those comments. And I anticipate we'll see in the spring regulatory agenda what the agency's intent to do with those proposed rules that were proposed, maybe a year ago. I will say, I kind of, what this slipped my mind. Generally, about this time every year, the penalties will increase, and that's based on the CPI. That memo has not hit the street yet, so we're anticipating that. The other thing is the Appropriations Act, which identifies which industries are considered low hazard and could be exempt, from certain criteria of OSHA enforcement. So those things are probably coming out fairly soon, I would say within the next 30 days.
I have nothing else.
You know about a directive that might be coming out?
I don't. Not imminently.
Not imminently. Well, now that we're talking about that, there are proposed, we talked about VPP, there are some proposed changes in the VPP world coming out, and that probably will be couched as a directive. So possibly so.
I think one thing a lot of people are curious about is just the heat stress standard.
Okay,
It's gotten a lot of attention. It gets a lot of discussion.
sure.
And,
So it's probably, so the question is about the heat stress standard. It's generated lots of discussion, correct? So it is one of those regulations that I was talking about, Randy, where it generated many comments. And so the agency is working through the comments, and after they get through that, they'll decide what route they're gonna go. So we're still waiting. Yes, sir.
It's also, to me, one of the most practical regulations that's ever come down the line.
Anything else?
Here's your chance, everybody.
So I don't have a business card. Cecil does have a business card.
I have a stack.
But if you'll see the format for his name or email, so mine will follow suit. It's Hughes, Dr. Brenda at DOL.gov. Please don't be shy. I look forward to hearing from you, working with you. If you have thoughts and ideas of how we can work creatively, obviously we don't want to do anything illegal, but and maybe not talk about football like that.
We can talk about football if you want to. But don't hesitate to call us. We're not tracking phone numbers. We're not gonna come out and do an inspection because you called us. We want to work with you. I mean, I think we've been clear about that. We want to work with you. We want to engage with you. We want to help you and have you help us advance OSHA's mission. That's making sure that employees are providing a safe and healthful work environment. So please don't hesitate to call us. We'll drop what we're doing to help you out, to answer your questions, to move forward. So please take advantage of us.
Randy,
Yes, Mark.
I'll make one quick comment. So, just an invitation to anybody that's sitting here right now, including all of you guys, you, Cecil. Y'all are in the Academy of Craft Training, like I said before. If any of you are interested in walk through, this is a construction training program for high school students. There's students here now. Anybody like to walk through, learn more about it? Potentially walk with us. You're welcome to Mr. Ledbetter, Aaron Ledbetter, right on the other side. Be leading the tour to our facility and see all the kids at once. That's all I have. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for hosting us.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming out for this. Brenda, Cecil, we appreciate your willingness to do this, your openness. Mark, do this is a meet and greet for the RA, so, everybody not waiting to please take advantage to do this. Couple of things. But again, I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate, Mark and Chad, presenting all of them, Jeff and Cody, sponsoring lunch, those type of things. And we have thank yous for all. Promise that I'll let you know what. So anyway, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, the eleventh chapter of ASSP is like to present to you a coffee mug, and I understand dishwasher and microwavable safe.
I have to see if they are.
A couple of things. The partnerships, we're talking about in terms of things, and I'm not talking about the charters and partnership, I'm just talking about all of us here partnering with each other to encourage the work environment. Because the fatalities get on. Like I said, we have a bunch come across, I'm looking at it, it's like, this is too much. And I remember very vividly being a player, brand new player we worked with. And about a week. Years old, those 50. That's why we do this. And on top of that, we also do this because it's good business. And that's the thing we need to remember. You know, these things cost a lot of money. We've done a lot of presentations, different things, talking about litigation. We've done things talking about comp costs. We've done things just litigation costs. Nuclear verdicts, you know, the amount of things that are going up. So our friends in the legal field here are very aware of that. Side to advocate for. So these are all things that go into the cost of doing business. So if you put the product out, what you sell it for, when you did a job, what was the margin on that? All takes that. Again, we're a safe state, we're here to help anything. We do presentations, we do consultations, we try to help with things, we help facilitate things. Talk a lot about PPP, we have something from small businesses called SHARP, Safety Health Achievement Recognition Program, that's the units PPP, except it's really directed toward small businesses, consultations. Now, all of these OSHA partnerships we have involved, we're the boots on the ground. The ordinary business. Jean Winston back is my construction specialist, and she does most of that. Jean draws some attention to herself. Hang out, okay. Anyway, we bring expertise to this, and the thing we do too, not going to try too hard to sell. If you want it, it's available. If you don't, that's fine too. But we try to help you solve problems, not just finding them, but solve. So we do that as part of being the University of Alabama Safe Study Program, and we're a component of the Lee J. Steisler's junior college engineer. So we're one of those aspects to it. Yes, that was this year, so we're still recording. But I thank everyone for being here. I take advantage of the tour, take the opportunity to meet briefly Susan and Melinda. We thank them for being here. We thank you for all being here. Oh,